Moving on into the next one, what is going on YouTube? This is the third part of our breakdown and probably the last. So anyway, next here we have a 4 cost 5,000 black character that is a counter 1,000 navy blocker that says once per turn when your opponent character attacks, you may activate this effect. If that character has slash attribute, this character gains 5,000 power during this battle. So this character becomes a 10,000 power blocker when facing off against a slash attribute type. That is actually impressive. That is actually pretty good. I think that's going to come in handy for when going against Law as black players to go ahead and be able to counter out most of their swings and most of their effects, because most of the characters for that deck are going to be in the slash attribute. So for Navy, you expect that you're going to be playing against a bunch of slash type characters such as Law or even green, blue, Zoro, Sanji, then you might want to pick up this guy because he's going to be good against playing those archetypes, seeing as they do have a lot of slash types that they play. Moving forward, looks like we have a red 5,000, 6,000 power counter 1,000 film Neo Navy. Dawn ×1 when attacking up to one of your opponent's characters with the slash attribute loses 5,000 power for this turn. I'm sorry, with the special attribute loses 5,000 power for this turn. So again, a nichely special card for nichely special situations. I don't see this seeing a lot of play unless special is the attribute that's most likely being played a lot in the upcoming format. But even still, I don't really see how this would be super effective in any kind of deck. Like again, I mean, like maybe possibly again one of those tech Sanji choices, but you'd have to be playing against something that's playing a lot of special characters, and if they're not playing a lot of special characters, you're not playing something to pop. Then like, what is this guy even doing? You know what I mean? Like, not the best, but then again, I could be wrong. But we're going to move on and find out a little bit more about what is coming out. Looks like we have a Kami, which is a once per turn. When your opponent activates an event or trigger, you may activate this effect. If your opponent has 2 or less life cards, trash the top card or both players' life. Kind of cool, I guess. You know what I mean. The 2,000 counter. The 2,000 counter being one of the most important parts about this card effect. The 2,000 counter being one of the biggest parts about this card effect. The rest of it just being kind of cool. The trash 1 life if your opponent activates an event or a trigger is, I mean, I guess it's good anti-black tech. I mean, because it would cost both of you a life. To play that, but like I say, it is good anti-black tech. It does warrant that if black does play an event, because they're more likely to play event, or if you're playing against yellow, and obviously they're likely to play triggers, then this card just being able to trash if your opponent has 2 or more life cards, trash 1 card from the top of both players. So this could possibly be pretty devastating. It's very very possible that this card could just do some work. It's very possible this card could do some work. We're gonna have to see though. We're gonna have to see. Like I say, this is definitely gonna be trashing people's lives left and right. I think, in my personal opinion, because lots of people play events. Events are some of the most cornerstone cards played in the game right now. So with the search events coming out too. Yeah, I see this just kind of sort of hurting people's feelings just a lot. And then if you have multiple of these on field, oh man, because imagine, you know what I mean? You're going first and you're playing against some weird yellow player, and then your very next turn, like, you can't really play a trigger, because if I swing into your life and you activate a trigger and that trigger doesn't get rid of any one of these creatures, you automatically just lost 2 more life. Like, that's disturbed. That actually is pretty sick. I lost 2 life too, but whew, with me being yellow, I don't know. I see that being potentially pretty sick. Moving forward, we have purple. 1 cost 1,000, 1,000 counter, Big Mom Pirates. If you have another character other than this character with the Big Mom Pirates type, this character gains blocker. I'm a big fan of the new release of these. If you have a certain type 1 cost blocker, and because they're trying to also balance it off with a bunch of creatures that say, hey, we pop all those. But even still, I think it's kind of cool that they're trying to go the route of balancing out the one drop blocker. Because before, I don't think one drop blockers were balanced. I mean, I think they were because they didn't have counter. But just you can blop these down in any kind of deck. I don't think we took enough advantage of those. But I think that these kind of sort of balance out the idea of those cards by giving us blockers that are one drop, but only under certain stipulations, which is kind of like I said, I think that's kind of cool, and I think that they encourage a little bit more thought process in the blockers that you want to play. But I think it's the next wave in blockers that we should be playing. Like I say, I think because of all the cards that are also releasing to say, hey, KO one drops. I mean, yeah, obviously it's not like going to be the greatest because while they are gearing us toward this, are also placing the things out also to handle all of these cards. So we're gonna see. I'm personally a fan of, like I say, the if you have this becomes a block or one drop. So, but we're gonna see how effective they are. Moving forward, looks like we have some more support for Hannibal. With Hannibal, this is a purple 5 cost 5,000, 1,000 counter, impale down blocker on play. If your leader has the impale type, you may place one character with a impale type. You may play one character with an impale type with a cost of 3 or less from your hand. This is going to be pretty good in Hannibal. This is going to be helpful for filling up the board and using your Hannibal ability by going ahead and mounting you to bounce cards back to your hand. I know that we just got that Sadie, so that Sadie can be something that you use to go ahead and bounce something back, or you can use previous cards to go ahead and bounce back to your hand. At the end phase of the turn, when you play this, I know that you can play this to play the 3 cost, to play another 4 cost body, to bounce the 3 cost body back to the hand. And effectively having placed 3 characters on board when still having a 2K counter in hand while ramping 1. If you play the blue event, I think you've got a pretty good chance of just running over your opponent. So, Hannibal might be something to revisit. This might have been the sauce that brings Hannibal to life. This might be the single card that Hannibal needed to just go ahead and get it in there. Let's see. Moving forward, we have a very good. Okay. This is a black character, 4 cost 5,000 counter, 2,000 Navy. On play, your opponent places 3 event cards from their trash to the bottom of their deck in any order. I guess anti-Nami tech, if you want, maybe possibly. I mean, placing 3 cards back in their trash, they get to choose in any order is kind of sus. But if you play multiple of them, is it really? Like, of course they're gonna put back, the draw 2 event and just start drawing into those cards because you put 3. So it kind of sort of counterproductive because they just get those 3 back. But if it is the last 3 cards, and like I said, if you are playing this over multiple times and bottom decking cards multiple times, then are you really losing? Are you? Because 2-3 of these, I done put 9 cards at the bottom of your deck. I mean, you were sitting pretty high for a second ago, but a plus 9 is pretty sick in Nami. You know what I'm saying? If you're a Nami player and then someone plus 9 to your deck, like, you're like, dude, what are you doing? Stop doing that. Don't do that again. That's not cool. Moving onward, we have another red character, Chishi, 1 cost 1,000 power, 1 counter. Navy, active main. You may rest this character if your leader has a Navy type. Give up to one of your characters Navy type plus 2,000 power during this turn. Okay, so this is just boosting up Navy characters so they can go ahead and keep smacking into your other characters. Again, this is going to be something that's going to be needed because it's a 1 Dawn plus 2,000 to any of your Navy characters. And let me see this. It says give up to one of your Navy characters. So yes, it only gives up to one of your Navy characters, but it doesn't matter because you're going to rest this thing to boost up one of your Naves to have them swing into one of your other opponent's creatures for high attack because it's just what you're going to do. Very good card. It's like black event costs 1. Navy, counter up to one of your leader or characters gains 1,000 power for this battle. Then if you have 10 or more cards in your trash, add up to 1 black character with a cost of 3 or below from your trash to your hand. Holy bagoli moly, this is a good ass card. So being able to add a cost 3 or less means that you'll be able to add a Tashiki back to hand. You'll obviously be able to add the Kobe back to hand. You'll be able to add, oh my goodness. I mean, they applicate, like you can add, this is, wow. This is, wow. So add up to 1 black character with a cost of 3 or below from your trash to your hand. There hasn't been anything that says you can add a black character with 3 or below back yet. This is going to be a really good card. Okay, so this is going to make cards like Mancherry super effective, because now you can just pull back a Mancherry to pull back something else. So on your opponent's turn, you can go ahead, rest 1 Dawn, counter out of a 5,000 swing. Go ahead, get a Mancherry back. On your turn, go ahead, play the Mancherry, get a Rebecca into something else, and then just have that loop for a whole nother turn in black, or just counter cycle out something else, or even just whatever the case may be. Being able to grab 3 or lower means you can grab Brooks back from the graveyard. You can grab back hell, even if you're not playing this in Navy, let's see, up to 1 of your leader characters. So yeah, this isn't leader lock neither. So you can even play this in any kind of Dressrosa package that you play. It says add up to 1 black character. So yeah, you can add up any of your black characters in any of your Dressrosa packages. So anything in black, you can add any of your 3 or less back. Okay, and that's super insanely powerful for a whole lot of black decks. So I think this is a very powerful event. Very strong, something that's going to be pretty good in Navy coming up in the future. Then we have the Gun King Cobra. That this is the blue event, 1 cost straw hat. It says a counter up to 1 of your leader or characters gains 2,000 power. Then, if you have 4 or less cards in your hand, plus another 2,000 power for this battle. The trigger is return up to 1 of your characters with a cost of 2 or below to the owner's hand. This card, in comparison to Gum Giant, is buns. It is absolute buns. I don't care what anybody says. Look at how unimpressive this card is. I'm not saying that like it's completely bad, because in Blue Luffy, this card is going to be pretty good because it does fit in theme with the deck for, allowing itself to protect itself. But that's about it, though. Like that's really just about it. I mean, I get that it's the radical beam for blue, and if blue has a low hand size, if this one had like impel down set into it as well, then I guess I'd also vibe with it, because that means Ivankov could really get off on this. I mean, there are a couple blue leaders that could really get off with this card, but even still, it is just not the same. It is just not the same as a powerhouse event as Gum Giant is, and it just is not. I mean, it's lackluster. And to print any kind of like 1 drop straw hat event that you're supposed to boost that isn't like that one, I think it's just an insult. Like, in my personal opinion, it's just such a good card. But anyway, moving on to the Smoker, that is a 4 cost 5,000 counter 1,000 Navy blocker. Interesting. Dawn times 1. This character cannot be KO'd by the effect of characters without special attribute. So anything that isn't special gets a passo. I don't know. That's it. That's kind of that's an interesting one. That's an interesting kind of sort of tech option right there. It means you can block with this, and this thing cannot be KO'd in battle by anything. Let's see, KO'd by effect of cannot be KO'd by effect of characters with special attribute. So this thing can still be KO'd in battle. It just can't be KO'd by the effect of characters with special attribute. So I wonder what characters that is and what characters that affect. So looky. What do we have here? Looks like we got a homie, my dear. This is a purple 1 cost 2,000 power homie card with 1,000 counter. It says during your turn, once per turn, when a Dawn on the field is returned to the Dawn deck, up to 1 of your Big Mom Pirate types with the up to 1 of your Big Mom Pirate types gains +2 costs until the end of your opponent's next turn. I guess this means that you can make this little homie 3 costs, which I don't know why you would, but hey, maybe there's some sort of point, purpose, or rhyme, rhythm, or some kind of scheme to this. I don't know, but we're going to move forward. And it says that this is up to 2 as a red event, 2 cost Navy Sword Drake Pirates. It says up to 2 of your opponent's characters gain or lose 2,000 power for this turn. Then up to 1 of your characters is Navy type gain 1,000 power for this turn. Trigger K up to 1 of your opponent's characters with a power of 4,000 or below. Seems pretty meh. I mean, for the I'm going to punch into your characters aspect of things, I guess it is pretty cool if you want to think of it like that. For 2 Dawn, you go ahead and get to give up to 2 of your opponent's characters minus 2,000 power, so maybe that's not that bad. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty decent, especially if you're just using your characters to ram into your opponent's characters. Moving forward, we have this Frankie here. But I actually just want to go ahead and go a little bit forward. Go a little bit forward. Some of these we're going to go over, and I actually want to talk about this Zoro real quick because it was so gosh darn impressive. So this is a Rono Zoro red character, 5 cost 6,000 power, Counter 1000, Straw Hat, active main, once per turn. Attach up to 1 Rested Dawn to one of your leader or character cards. This is what we have been waiting for in the Straw Hat package. This card is just needed. So the problem with 1 cost Nami is that it's 1 cost and it's very easy to remove. The problem with 3 cost Nami is that it's 3 costs and it's very easy to remove. So it didn't really solve the problem, but this Zoro is the Zoro. It is a 5 cost 6,000 power, which is the magical stat line for anything you want to be able to have the ability that it has, which is be able to give out Rested Dawn. And this is something that is very needed for a lot of different red leaders. A lot of different red leaders just could really use that Rested Dawn ability, and he is just going to go ahead and get you in there like swimwear. So I'm very happy to see this. I'm very happy to see that they had to go ahead and add this card. I think it was very necessary. Now, we could go over some of these other cards, but my time has been running long, and some of these cards just aren't even it. Looks like they've released some images of some new things that are coming out and some new things to be excited for. So go ahead and check that out, you guys. We've got some interesting stuff happening ahead of us, and it looks like this is a blue Yanji. Hold on now. What are we doing here? Okay, so there's a blue 5. It doesn't look like it has any effect, except it's just another 2,000 counter to have in the deck as you can play off of a baby. So it looks like the blue aspect that they're going to play is just going to be filler for all of the cards that you aren't playing, just to make the deck a little bit more consistent. So what they're trying to do is just look like they're pushing out all the non-Germa cards to fit in more Germa cards, so you can just start playing Germa. I still don't think that you should take out Porsche. I think that some of these cards are going to help with the consistency of the deck for sure. I think that you can take out cards like the 3 something Sanji that is a blocker for cards like these, just simply because they're just a little bit more consistent with the deck. You can search these, you can see these in your top end. I definitely would replace some of the cards that I do have with some of these cards, simply because not only are they 2K, but they're 2K searchable, which again is going to create much more consistency in the deck. I think that the blue Reiju is going to create a lot of consistency for the deck, especially since one of the big problems is not having that card. So being able to search that card and have that card regularly access to your availability, I think that that is going to be the bee's knees. Looks like these are just a bunch of common counter 2,000 cards. None of these have any effects. They're just vanilla 5 cost 2,000 counter cards, which is just pretty interesting to see. Or 6 cost 2. Whew. Wow, that's an incredible Bartholomew right there. That is actually a very good vanilla static card. But it looks like these are all just vanilla started good cards, just with 2,000 counter, all in different archetypes that are coming out. So yeah, gonna be good to see. Can't wait to see what happens next, and you guys enjoy. That is the end of this video. Got bad outros again. How we doing that? We're going backwards, ladies and gentlemen.